Hey guys, this is Jason Morris for Real Estate Agents to Really Work. This is my for sale by owner master series. It's free on YouTube. Okay, so okay, we talked about why people are for sale by owner, and we talked about pre-listing package. This is recording number 3. Here in recording number 3, we're going to talk about lead sources. So lead sources are probably the most important. I mean, this is probably more important than actually having a system, because if you don't have any leads, you don't really need a system. They're pretty much, and generally in most cases, the person with the most leads is going to list and sell the most properties. So what you want to get is you want to get as many for sale by owner leads as possible. And I'm going to tell you where my lead sources are and the best lead sources and stuff. Calling for sale owners is just like anything in life. If you make it too difficult, you're just not going to do it. You need to have everything set up so that once it's time for you to make calls, once it's time, if you got your schedule done and you're going to make calls from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. or whatever your time period is, you want to make sure that it's easy and you open your laptop and you just start making calls. So I want to give you my top for sale owner lead sources. My number one source for leads, for sale owner leads, is RedX. They go out and their service gathers data every day. They check a lot of the for sale owner listing sites, a lot of newspaper sites, and all this stuff. I just log in and they're all there. Plus, you've got access. If you're new to calling for sale owners, you want to have a list, because some markets it's tough out there. For sale owner inventory is low. If you log in and there's 2 new ones for today, then you call those 2 new ones and it's like, hey, what's left? So if you're new, you start calling for sale owners, call RedX, sign up, tell them I sent you. They waive your setup fees. That saves you $150. Plus, you get access to their entire database of for sale owners. So you can start day one with literally hundreds of leads already set up, so you can just load them into your CRM. And we're going to talk about CRMs a little later. And you can start making calls, texting, and sending emails. So RedX is my number one source and for sale owners, and it's using their gathering service. It costs about $30 a month to get that. So, and if you pay for, like, if you do a 3 or 6 or 12 month subscription, you pay it all up front. They have some crazy discounts and stuff for that too. So my number 2 source is Craigslist. So even though I pay for RedX, still sometimes RedX has a quality control system. So sometimes, if that person doesn't have a phone number and they don't have like all the information, it doesn't pick it up. So Craigslist, I go through Craigslist real quick every morning. I scan through all the listings, and sometimes I'll do it at night. I'll scan through them in the afternoons too, because I like to call them as soon as they pop up on Craigslist. I want to be the first person to call. But Craigslist also has for sale owner listings. They don't have a phone number and they don't have an email. So you have to email them through the Craigslist relay system. And what I do is I just send a short email that just says, actually, it's really simple. It just says, hey, what's the best number to contact you? And I just email them through the Craigslist relay. And probably about 1 out of 2, 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4, I regularly get responses to that with a phone number. And I just call them up and go through my same script. And those are fantastic, because nobody has contacted those people at all. Because most agents say, oh, there's no description. There's no, to say like 3-bedroom, 2-bath home for sale. In the description, it says something, super basic. The for sale owners, like we talked about, these people don't have like a lot of real estate experience. They don't have a lot of marketing experience, chances are they just have a regular job. So they may not even have pictures. Some people, they're not as tech savvy as we are. So, those people are fantastic. So I scan down through Craigslist. That's number 2 for me, for sure. I want to call them, I want to email them, and I want to do it as soon as they pop up on Craigslist. I want to be the first person to call. I want to be the first person to email. So number 3, I really like Zillow. And, as a real estate agent, it's probably my least favorite site. As a for sale owner resource, it's one of my favorite ones. This is the same way as Craigslist. Sometimes people don't put all the information in Zillow, so Redx doesn't pick them up. And also, you've got the Zillow Make Me Move. So I treat those the same way as a for sale owner lead. So so people look at these estimates and they know their house is worth, or they think their house is worth some crazy amount of money, and in reality, is worth nowhere near what that is. This estimate is usually nowhere near what the actual value of the home is. As well, most of the time it's nowhere near. So sometimes those Zillow for sale owners and Zillow Make Me Move leads, you kind of got to go through them, and you kind of got to follow up and convince them that Zillow is wrong sometimes. But it's easy to do that. You just use your pre-listing package, use your net sheet, and use your pricing strategy. I'm going to teach you here. So there's a lot of for sale owners on Zillow. RedX does seem to get most of Zillow. Now, the other source of for sale owners that is fantastic, and this is a great source too, man. And I have like a super high closing ratio on these. When I'm on the way to appointments, when I'm going to an appointment, I'm leaving an appointment, I always drive around the neighborhood. Or sometimes on the way home from somewhere, running errands or something, I'll cut through a neighborhood that I hadn't went through in a while. And what I'm doing is I'm looking for sale owner signs. Because, there's some people, man, they think they buy with that red and white sign and they stick it out in their front yard and it's going to be magical. They don't know how to do Craigslist. Some of these people, they're older, they don't even have a computer. So let alone an email address. So, if I'm driving around somewhere and I find that for sale owner that's literally stuck in the back of a community, the best ones are the ones that I got to get out because and look at the sign, because where they wrote on it with a Sharpie, it's pretty much faded off. I mean, those are even better. So driving around looking at for sale owners, I always carry a notepad with me. I do not drive by a for sale owner in my market without stopping and writing down the number to it. I write down the number, the address, and I write down some little details about the house. Maybe I write, it's a nice lot, brick house, new looking roof, just something so that I know what it is, and it kind of triggers like, hey, I try to call them. Sometimes, like if I got time, I'll call them. I'm standing in the front yard of the house, to say, hey, Mr. Seller, this is Jason Morris with EXP Realty. I'm standing out here in front of your house. I see you got a for sale by owner sign. How much do you want for it? What kind of conditions the inside on? How soon do you want to sell it? And I just go down through my same script. And I know the market pretty well. And if you're doing this around appointments, those are even best because you've already pulled all the comparables. I've had for sale owners that I've called them standing in the front yard of the house, and the house has been empty. And they've called me and they've said, oh, hey, I can be over there in 10, 15 minutes to show it to you. Because remember, a lot of these people, especially if they're in the back of the neighborhood and that's all they've done is the sign, they probably haven't got many calls off of it. So you may be one of the first people to call them off their sign, and they're excited about showing it to anybody. Qualified, not qualified, it doesn't matter. They're willing to show it to you. So that's my favorite lead sources for sale owners. There's a lot of little classified sites. RedX seems to pick up most of those. There's a lot of newspaper sites. RedX seems to pick up most of those. One more strategy I'll give you is if you're really motivated, you can go down to your library. You can grab the last 6 months of newspapers. Okay, most libraries will have those on file, and you take and you go through them with your pen and paper, and you write down all the for sale owners that were in the newspapers in the last 6 months. There won't be many, or at least there's not in most markets, because nobody really picks up the newspaper anymore. And I don't know if you've called on place a classified ad lately, but it's kind of expensive to do classified ads. So, but if you do that, the people that are in that, they place a classified ad for maybe a weekend or maybe 30 days, and they kind of gave up. It isn't that they don't want to sell the house still. It's just they got tired of paying money for the ad. And, let's face it, some of these people are wanting to sell because they're having financial hardships. They don't have the money to post newspaper ads constantly. But like I said, my number one resource is RedX. Call and tell them I sent you. They'll waive the sign up fees. That's going to save you $150. If you go ahead and pay for a 3, 6, or 12-month subscription, it'll save you a little bit more money, and they have some package deals and stuff. So tomorrow I got some exciting stuff to talk about, and I got some exciting stuff to talk about in the recordings here. So I'll talk to you later. Hey, subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you don't miss any of these. And also join my group, Facebook, Real Estate Agents That Really Work. Thanks, guys.